Oh, that's right. Minimum wage video today. Hi, my name is Justin. Today, we'll be discussing the minimum wage, its impacts on Florida society, as well as presenting a solution that I believe will resolve the issue. First, let's specify what we mean by the minimum wage. The minimum wage is the current monetary value which an employer is required to pay an employee for an hour's worth of work. Currently, in the state of Florida, this value is $8.05. It's believed by many to be too low to keep up with the rising cost of living. Most solutions nowadays generally propose to simply raise the wage by some monetary value, but this presents many problems for both employer and employee. So, in order to resolve the issue of minimum wage in Florida, we must create a solution that benefits both employer and employee. And that's exactly what I'll be doing here today. What I'm proposing is a new Florida law which calls for an $8.10 minimum wage as well as full comprehensive coverage on a group health care plan. What this will do is it'll benefit both the employer and employee, which you'll find out about later in the video. And by getting a petition and obtaining 100,000 signatures, I believe that we can do this and get it into the hands of the Florida legislature, where it can hopefully be put into effect, benefiting the lives of employers and employees for generations to come. The first way the minimum wage impacts Florida society is in its economy and labor market. Minimum wages cut down the jobs achievable by low-skilled employees. What this means is that since an employer has to pay a certain amount for an hour's labor anyway, he's always going to choose the higher-skilled employee over the lower-skilled employee. This acts to benefit the employer as well as the Florida economy, but it does often leave the lower-skilled employee jobless. Any attempt to raise the minimum wage is counteracted by job eradication. What this means is that following a raise in the wage, an employer is unable to immediately pay that difference in wage because neither the demand for his product nor his profit has gone up. The best way I can explain this to y'all is through an example. Hi, welcome to Richard's Enterprises. These are my 3 employees. This week, we grossed 5 dog bones. I need 2 of these dog bones for business-related expenses, so I'll set those off to the side. Now, I have 3 dog bones left, and the way the current minimum wage works out is it's about a dog bone a week per employee. 3 dog bones, 3 employees. Works out, right? Unless the minimum wage goes up to average about a bone and a half a week. When that happens, I have to take this 3rd dog bone, split it in half, and divide it to these 2 employees, leaving the 3rd employee jobless. Hey Daisy, sorry about this, but our expenses just went up and I'm going to have to lay you off. Your numbers weren't good, you know. Penny and Joey outdid you. I'm sorry, there's just no other way I can make this work. I'm sorry. Now, let's head out on the boat to talk about inflation. Inflation is the second way in which the minimum wage affects Florida. Inflation is any general increase in the prices of either goods or services. Inflation can affect different goods and services differently. For example, following a rise in the minimum wage, the price of milk could go up, whereas the price of gas could go down. Now, minimum wage and inflation do tend to move hand in hand. For example, in the early 1900s, minimum wage kept a pace way above inflation because workers had more influence on the market. But in subsequent years, with the conditions of labor very different, wages have barely kept pace with inflation. This presents a huge problem for workers who depend on the minimum wage to survive, mainly because inflation will always inflate the cost of living. I'll now demonstrate to y'all the relationship between the minimum wage and inflation in an example. There he is. Yeah, little guy. Alright. He'll do. So, we'll assume this bass right here, minimum wage. And my fishing line, inflation. So when I raise this bass up, which is the minimum wage, my fishing line follows. This, in theory, is how it should work. But it actually works more like this. If I were to take this bass and let him go down here, and now I'm raising the minimum wage, and it's coming behind inflation. Inflation will always steadily pull it up, but it can never keep up with it. So what that means is that, well, let me let this guy go first. What it means is that that's the exact issue that Florida society is facing today. It's the fact that inflationary rates are driving that cost of living up, and that minimum wage just can't quite catch up to it. It keeps rising, but it just can't quite reach it. And that's what I'm about to solve with you guys here today. Now that we're back from fishing, we can look at the solution. What I got here is our petition. It reads, 4. Consideration of a new Florida law stipulating an $8.10 minimum wage and full comprehensive coverage in a group health care plan under the employer for all full-time minimum wage workers, which a full-time worker is simply 30 hours a week or more. Now, our solution will act to benefit both employer and employee. First, let's look at how it's going to benefit the employer. Current law says that employers can deduct the premiums for any amount paid towards employee health insurance. What this means is that any amount paid by an employer towards the employee's health insurance is considered tax exempt by the government, and thus the employer can receive tax benefits on it throughout the year while only paying 5 cents more than the current minimum wage. And our new law will also act to make the employer's job offer more enticing, leading to a healthier labor market and economy. Our new law will also benefit the full-time minimum wage worker. In 2013, 20.4% of Floridians were uninsured. That's about a fifth of the state. Our new law will drastically act to change and lower this number, since all full-time employees will be insured. The reason this percentage was so high was principally due to the price of healthcare insurance. Under the Affordable Health Care Act, the monthly average for health insurance was $328. So I drew up a little example here. I took a standard full-time minimum wage worker, 40 hours a week, and I times that by $8.05 minus $1.05, which the $1.05 is for taxes and Social Security taken out. So we figure about $7 that the worker gets back. So I did 40 times 7, gives you $280 for 1 week. 280 times 4 for 1 month gives you $1120. $1120 minus the $328 for health insurance leaves you with $792 for the whole month. And this number tells us two things. Number one, that this wage is not very livable. And number two, that under our new law, a worker such as this will be able to retain that third of his income, which he was previously spending on health insurance. So, all in all, our new law does indeed act to benefit both the employer and the employee. It's Rick Scott, I gotta take this. Hey Rick, what's up? They did what? I see. I'll take care of it. See you at poker on Tuesday, man. Alright, bye. Well, it appears the Democrats put a hit out on me. Guess they don't like our ideas. See who this is. Hello.
The Democrats send their compliments.
Is that my robe?
So what?
Look, you can leave right now, and we don't have a problem, all right? Set this down, and you can leave. We don't got a problem. It's not really... Hey, Rick. Yeah, it's Justin. I took care of this little piece of trash the Democrats sent over, and we'll have him out in my garage waiting for you. Just send one of your guys over and dispose of him. Yeah, thanks again for letting me know, man. Alright, I gotta go get some signatures on this petition. Yeah, thanks. Bye. Alright, now that's done and over with, let's go get our first signature. Hello, ma'am. How you doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
I'm not trying to get signatures on this petition. What it's for is it's for a new minimum wage law in the state of Florida. And it's going to stipulate an $8.10 minimum wage and full comprehensive coverage under a group health care plan through the employer for all full-time minimum wage employees.
Sounds like a good idea.
Sweet. So will you be my first signature?
Sure.
Thank you very much. You
You're
have a
very
good night.
welcome. Thanks, you too.
Alright guys, we got our first signature. Only 99,999 more to go. I've done about all I can do, so I'm depending on y'all to get the support and the signatures we need to get this law enacted. Remember, I'm counting on you, and I love you. See y'all around.